Okay, you are live.
Good evening. It's Tuesday, April 13th, 7 o'clock, and the Park Board meeting of Chaska will come to order. Mary, will you do the roll call for us?
All right, Chair David Downs,
Here?
Vice Chair Jason Branch,
Here.
Elizabeth Winveen,
Here.
Georgianne Keyport,
Here.
Zach Saressig,
Here.
Danielle Hi.
Hi, here.
Hi. Sorry. Carly Sitch,
Here.
Thomas Massey,
Here.
Jalen Destin.
Here.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is to adopt the agenda. Are there any comments or things that need to be added to the agenda?
No changes on my end.
Hearing no changes, we will adopt the agenda for tonight. The next item is visitor presentation. We have a visitor from the cricket organization. You want to take it away?
Actually, Dave, they're gonna present as part of the action item that we have.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there any other visitors here that would like to present?
I don't believe so. I don't see anyone. Is anyone here that's not with the cricket club?
We'll
All right,
close item number 4 then, and we'll go on to the approved previous minutes. First item 5A is the minutes from the Park Board of March 9th. Are there any comments or corrections to the minutes? All those in favor of approving the Park Board meetings of March 9th, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
All those against, say nay. Meeting minutes from March 9th are accepted. Item 6 is review the city council meetings, 6A, from February 22nd. Any comments to those? Moving on, 6B, council meetings of March 15th. I've got one comment on that. During that meeting, they announced the new park board appointments. And they had that one was a member of the park board and the 2 were as alternates. That's not correct. All 3 of the new members are in fact full park board members. We still have room for a couple of alternates if we can get them, but right now we have a full park board.
Yep, and just to clarify on that, Dave, we made that correction with the city council since those meeting minutes, so they're fully appointed now to the park board, so we've accounted for that.
Good. Along those lines, I've got a question. In the roll call, we didn't include Ernesto. Is Ernesto officially dropped from the park board at this point?
Not at this point. That's going to be some discussion we're going to need to have as a board.
Okay.
Yep.
Moving on, the planning meeting minutes of January 13th. Were there any comments to those minutes? Hearing none. We don't approve the minutes that we've just reviewed. We accept them, and hearing no further comments, we'll accept the meeting minutes from the city council on the February 22nd, March 15th, and the planning minutes of the 13th of January. Moving on to item number 7, new business, introduction of newly appointed park board members. I'd like to welcome all of you in, and we'd like to have you go around and introduce yourself to the rest of the folks on the board and say a little bit about yourself. We start off, I'm just going on my screen around. Tom Macy, you happen to be first.
Fantastic. All right. Well, my name is Tom Massey. I'm excited to be here and part of the board. My wife and daughter and I, we live in the Jonathan neighborhood, more specifically the Clover Ridge area. So right down at the end there, my daughter goes to school there, and we utilize all of the trails around the neighborhood and the city. So, I thought this was a great way to be involved with something and give back to the community.
Thanks, Tom.
Welcome.
Donnell?
Good evening. I'm Danelle. Hi. It's Norwegian in case anyone was curious. I have lived in Chaska since 2015 and I grew up in St. Paul. I have a trail that borders my backyard, so I look at it every day. We use it pretty much every day. The kids walk to a park just down the street, and this is a fantastic way to just get involved with something that's going on in our community. So thank you.
Thanks, Donnell.
Welcome.
Carly?
Hi, I'm Carly. I live also in the Jonathan neighborhood by Lake Grace. So I'm really excited about that new trail that's going to connect Lake Grace to the other side. That'll be awesome. Yeah. I don't.
That's Zach's in the woods too.
Welcome, friends. Welcome. I live right by Lake Grace as well.
Last but not least, Jalen.
Hi, my name is Jalen Destin. Joined the Park and Rec board a couple months ago. It's my second meeting. Excited to be here. So.
Great. Well, I'd just like to welcome all the new park board members, as the Park and Rec director, and just really appreciate having new people come on, and, it provides new perspective, new ideas, and new advocacy out into the community, for all the things that our department is currently doing and striving to do into the future. So look forward to getting to know you all more, and just a warm welcome to the park board. Thank you.
Okay, new business. Next action items, the 8A is the cricket club, the cricket pitch at McKnight Park.
Yes. Chair and commissioners, I'm excited to bring this item before you. I thought what I'll do is just provide a little background and some context, and then we do have a couple of individuals that are with the local Chaska Cricket Club, and I'll turn it over to them to speak a little bit as well. And then from there, we're ultimately going to be looking for a motion in which we're going to ask for recommendation to City Council that we install a cricket pitch over at McKnight Park. But before we get there, the cricket club reached out to the city, I'm thinking about a couple months ago, generally letting us know about their club and, their desire to have a practice facility and to grow the sport here in Chaska. Many of them have been playing the sport for quite time. A lot of individuals that enjoy the sport live right here in Chaska. But they were having to drive anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes around the metro just to access cricket facilities. And so we had the opportunity to meet with them several times, and it's been a pleasure to get to know them, and quite honestly, for myself to learn a little bit more about the sport of cricket. It's actually a very fascinating game, and they'll probably mention it as well, but it's the second most spectated sport internationally. So that next to soccer. So, I mean, this is a sport worldwide that is very popular. It's just taking a little while to take off in the United States, but the momentum is there. And we're going to be probably seeing more and more cricket take place in the United States. It's my understanding that probably within a handful of years, we're probably going to see Major League Cricket formed in the United States, and we're going to start seeing, designated professional cricket stadiums being built in large cities that'll support these Major League Cricket teams. And so I just think it's a unique opportunity to support cricket here in Chaska, as this momentum is starting to occur, and, really provide another opportunity for the youth in our community to participate in the sport that they like. And so we've had some meetings, and really the big challenge was just trying to figure out, where do we have some large open green space, that can accommodate the dimensions of a cricket field. And after several discussions, city staff really came to the conclusion that the best spot for that currently would be at McKnight Park. That park currently gets utilized for soccer and then also football in the fall. And so working with our Public Works Department, we're able to essentially look at how we lay those fields out, and having the ability to install a cricket pitch essentially in the out of bounds area between the soccer fields. And just so y'all know what I'm talking about with a cricket pitch is it's about, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 12 feet wide by 22 yards long. And we're actually going to look at installing that cricket pitch a little bit longer, though. I think we're looking more at like 40 yards, which then accommodates what's called the bowler, or we usually refer to that as the pitcher in baseball. So they have that that pitch to be able to run up on and bowl the ball. The great thing is we got talented staff in our Public Works Department, and we're able to self-perform the subsurface of this cricket pitch. So ultimately, we'll be digging out some of the turf, putting in some aggregate, and then ultimately constructing that pitch out of concrete. And so I think in talking with Brian, he estimates the cost of that concrete is roughly $3,500. And then on top of that, it would just be utilizing our own labor within the park maintenance department. And so Brian's able to accommodate this project within his parks operating budget this year. And then in working with the cricket club, they currently are fundraising to get the resources to purchase the turf. And so ultimately there will be turf that will get overlaid on top of that concrete that we install that will form the pitch. So with that, I think what I'll do from here is turn it over to Anoop. Are you the one?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to turn it over to Anoop and let him talk a little bit more about what you have planned here in Chaska.
All right. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
All right, cool. Thank you so much, Marshall, for the wonderful introduction. And congratulations to Tom, Donnell, Carly, and Jalen. Before I kick things off here, just want to take a moment to thank Marshall, David, and everybody for the opportunity to be in this meeting and talk about the cricket program. What I want to do here is just go over the sport itself briefly, and then talk a little bit about what we have for cricket programs. I'll keep this short, hopefully about 5 minutes. I definitely won't go over 7 minutes, but feel free to stop me if you have any questions or anything. What I want to do here now is share screen.
Okay, Kevin, is he able to share his screen? Oh, there you go.
It looks like, okay. Yep.
Yep.
All
Good.
right, cool. So I always like to kick things off with a couple of fun facts. Marshall knows that. Uh, the first international cricket game was actually played in 1844 here in New York in St. George Cricket Club between the U.S. Army and the Canadian Army. And the U.S. Army won, and then the whole concept of international cricket started from there. Before that, it was just played regionally in England and elsewhere in the world. And as Marshall mentioned, this is the second most popular sport in the world. An estimated about 2.5 billion people can play the sport. It's played in over 105 countries. So very quick fun facts there. And what I have over the next several slides basically talks about how popular cricket has been getting in the US over the past 5 to 6 years. Most notably, US has had a national cricket team for a while now. And in 2019, they finished fourth in the Division 2 tournament of ICC, which is the International Cricket Council. There has been tons of investment in cricketing facilities all over the US for the past 4 or 5 years. And this has become a mainstream sport. It's been offered in some states like New Jersey, Georgia, California. It's been offered as part of the curriculum for high school students. So like I said, this has become a legitimate mainstream professional sport. And as Marshall mentioned, we can actually see major league tournaments coming up in the next 4 to 5 years. Or at least that's the plan. We have local leagues here in the Twin Cities. There is actually MCA, which is the Minnesota Cricket Association. They have been conducting tournaments here for the past 42 years. We play mostly in Bryn Mawr, Brooklyn Park, Bohannon, and Lakeland fields. We basically rent fields from the city, and we play cricket in the summer and a little bit into the fall. So I've lived in the US for about 12 years now, and I've been playing the sport for pretty much all those years in the Twin Cities. But since I have moved to Chaska for the past 5 years, although we have been part of the same league, we thought we can start a local cricket club. And that's what we're trying to do here. I think I have Raghav here on the call, who's a fellow cricket lover and a Chaska resident. And we, along with a small team of volunteers, have established Chaska Cricket Club in 2021. And with all the wonderful support from the city and the Parks and Rec Department, we've been able to kind of visualize what a cricket field might look like in Chaska. And like Marshall said, we approached the city about 2 or 3 months ago with the goal of getting a local cricket ground, both for adults, for recreational cricket purposes, and also as a way to introduce the sport into the community, especially the youth coaching program. We've been playing the sport long enough, and I think it's time to now pass on the sport to the youth. So as part of forming this field, a dedicated field, a pitch, we are also going to be conducting voluntary youth coaching program free of cost to all the participants between the ages of 7 to 14. I'll show you some material I have with that too. What you're looking at right now is what a cricket field typically looks like. It's oval in shape. And if you look at the first image on your top right corner, the creamish rectangle that you see in the center, which says pitch, that is the pitch Marshall is talking about. We basically will have a concrete base and an AstroTurf mat, for which I'm happy to inform you that we have successfully raised the funds for that. an AstroTurf mat will overlay on top of the concrete pitch. And then we have the McKnight Park, which is the entire green field that you see there. So that's what the cricket pitch looks like. And these are just more useful links that show you. And I think Marshall has this. Maybe he can share this with you. It basically talks about how popular cricket is and is becoming in the US. Let me share another slide with you. And this is the youth coaching program that I was talking about. What we are doing right now is I'll actually walk you through this pretty quickly. Chaska Cricket Club, like I said, it's a nonprofit we are in the process of establishing in 2021. And our sole goal is to introduce the sport, promote the sport among adults and the youth in the city. This is a letter from our coaching team. We have currently 5 volunteers who have created the youth program. It's a 12-week program. The field right now, the goal is to have it ready by June. I think May end is when the work will start, and hopefully, if everything is approved and if things go ahead, hopefully we'll have a field in June. And we are planning to take on youth between 7 to 14 years and conduct a 12-week program. These are details, but basically what we are going to do is follow youth coaching program recommended by US Cricket Organization. We have done it before. We are familiar with that. So that's what we will use. Along with that, we have also raised money to provide for some of the equipment that will go in coaching youth programs. That's the short of what we are planning to do with this program. Any questions I can answer for anybody?
I have a question. It sounds like your training for the youth is May through July. What is the season for cricket? Is it fall? Is it spring or summer?
So it's basically weather permitting. What people do in other states, like I mentioned, California and some of these places, it's played year round. I can't think of a season for cricket. In Minnesota, what happens is all the major tournaments that I spoke about, the MTBC, MCA, these start somewhere in the first or second week of May, and weather permitting, and they go on until September, I like to say, sometimes even August, September, mid-September. So basically, we stop playing when it gets too cold. That's what I know.
I've got a question. You're going to be using the field at McKnight Park teams practices and games. Is that correct?
So that's right now the goal is to have it just for recreational games and practice purposes for all the residents of Chaska. But the city, of course, once the field is done, you can even conduct tournaments there. But our goal is to just have people come and play. We have a pretty large cricket playing community, in and around Chaska. So I'm not sure how feasible it is because we are sharing the field with the soccer and lacrosse and football and other sports. I don't think we will be able to conduct tournaments, but people can definitely come and just play recreationally there.
I think it would be great if we could have at least a match or two at that field so people could come and really watch people that know how to play rather than just having lessons for the kids.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay. I probably misunderstood your question. Yeah. There is going to be practice and there are going to be games. In fact, Marshall and we just spoke about having a inaugural game between the city and park officials and people who play cricket, just mix and match. And,
I was kind of eyeing up the park board here. I think with me, there's 11 here. So
I mean,
Yeah, there
my,
definitely will be games, and even with youth coaching, other cities have youth coaching programs too. Depending on how many kids enroll, go through training. We can even have youth from different cities coming over here and playing a game against, let's say, Plymouth versus Chaska or something like that. So we will be planning some of that.
so yeah, this is Raghav, part of Chaska Cricket Club. So as Anup mentioned, like it's not only for the kids, and as we are playing from long time, so anyone interested, resident of Chaska or around Chaska, can come and join us, and even we can have some tryout sessions for the adults as well. Like they just wanted to know and feel the game of the cricket, like how they can be part of the game, or maybe just learn. And sometimes whenever we have some office picnics or something like that, we generally play with our office team, within office team, like that. So people really enjoy it. I mean, it's a different dimension, a different game. So people, whoever wanted to just try out, youth, along with the youth program, we are happy to bring in the other people, and we can play with them. It's not specifically for the people who knows cricket. Anyone can come and try with us and play with us. So like that.
Hey, Anoop, this is Tom. I have a question for you. There was some mention of a turf that is an overlay to the cement pad. So can you tell me a little bit about that? Is it like an AstroTurf? And is it who's responsible for the maintenance and storing of that? And is it removable, or can you tell me about that?
Absolutely. So what has happened is all the major synthetic turf manufacturers in the US, they have started producing a specific version of the synthetic turf, which is suitable for the sport, for cricket. What that does is it provides consistent bounce of the ball. And basically there are providers everywhere. We are actually working with a synthetic turf provider in Chanhassen. They're actually 8 minutes from Chaska. So we have visited their warehouse. It's a proper synthetic turf, just like a synthetic putting golf turf or a backyard turf. And they will be providing the turf. What happens with that turf is we basically glue it and nail it on top of the concrete. Chaska Cricket Club will be responsible for the maintenance, wear and tear. It's a one-time install. It's supposed to last 18 years. That's the guarantee we're getting. But any wear and tear, Chaska Cricket Club will be responsible for that. I don't think we need storage for AstroTurf because it's a one-time laydown and it just stays there. But for equipment that I spoke about, we are talking to Marshall and I'm not sure who else to get some storage space. Okay. To get some storage space in the shed that's at McKnight Park. But just in case that doesn't work, we will get a storage locker box that we can tie to like a pillar or something in the field so that we don't have to carry equipment back and forth when we come and play.
Sounds like a great opportunity.
Thank you.
Yeah, this sounds really great, guys. I'm really excited. Just the different sports, kind of brought in pickleball last year. So with the introduction to cricket, I think this is just awesome stuff for the community. So thanks guys. Really appreciate it. This is awesome.
Yep, no problem at all. We would love for as many people to come and try it, as possible. And we are really excited about it and looking forward to the new field.
So like a few years back when we see that curling thing, like it's unique to Twin Cities. Probably we see a couple of places where we have that curling center. Chaska is one of them. We always see we have curling center just in our city. Probably the cricket ground will be the same kind of provide us some landmark saying like, oh, in Twin Cities, one of the best cricketing facility we have in Chaska, probably because it's just a growing sport. Chaska is the one which is going to start and initiate the thing. Probably we see maybe in next 5-10 years, different cities, but Chaska is definitely going to be the first front runner for the cricket club.
I'm sorry to ask if this was brought up already. Apologies, but is there going to be how many teams, I guess, are in the Twin Cities Chaska or the Twin Cities cricket kind of group? And then is there an opportunity to hold tournaments? I'm just thinking of, that's economic potential for the city too. So
Yeah. So, well, definitely yes. I mean, that's the short answer to your question, yes, Tom. But Twin Cities has a very large cricket playing community. For example, MTBC, which is the Minnesota Tennis Ball Cricket Association, I think, Raghav, correct me if I'm wrong, they usually have about 35 to 40 teams participating every year in the tournament, right? Yeah. And there is a Minnesota Cricket Association who play with a different kind of ball. They have about 25 teams participating every year. So we are looking about anywhere between 700 to 1,000 players just in the Twin Cities. And I've just named the two major tournaments in the city. There are lots of other tournaments. Even these organizations conduct smaller tournaments depending upon how the weather progresses, later part of August and September. There are tournaments being held just around the Twin Cities, like in Mankato, other places too. There is definitely a revenue generation opportunity here. For example, Minnesota Cricket Association, the league which I play, we pay the city in Bryn Mawr and Lakeland and Brooklyn Park, we pay them anywhere between $600 to $1,000 per game. And we are talking about 5 months of cricket. I don't know the details of it. These are contracts negotiated depending upon availability and the location of the ground and things like that. But there is definitely a revenue generation opportunity here if the city decides to rent these facilities to conduct corporate tournaments or general tournaments and things like that.
Would the McKnight facility or the McKnight Park, when it's had the pitch put in, would that be suitable for tournaments, or is it not the right dimensions, or is it strictly a practice area?
Yeah, so I have played in every cricket facility provided by MCA in the Twin Cities. McKnight Park is the best. There is size-wise, and the major difference is going to be in places like Bryn Mawr, which are the best fields right now. The city doesn't allow us to cut grass on the field. So what happens is, as the summer progresses, we have grass about, 3 to 4 inches, like almost ankle length. What happens with that is the ball doesn't travel along the ground. But in talking to Brian and Marshall, I think we have weekly twice mowing in McKnight Park, if I'm right.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that keeps the grass length to the optimal level where the ball travels. And we are getting a 12 feet by 100-foot turf, whereas other parks have 12 foot by 74 feet. What that does is there is a bump when the bowler comes in to bowl, which will be eliminated in our field. So purely from a cricketing perspective, the dimensions, the field, the pitch, McKnight is going to be above par, to put it one way, compared to other cricketing facilities in the city.
I have a quick question. I'm not as familiar with McKnight Park. Here's the athletic trainer and me coming out. Is there water available freely in that location and restroom facilities?
Yep. So we do have a park shelter building over at McKnight Park that has restroom facilities and water. So, yep.
Oh, also very important. I'm sorry. Going back to your question, David, a lot of the places where we play cricket, especially with MTBC, there are obstructions in the field because we use softball fields. There are batting cages and I don't know what you call the steel structures that surround us. So basically those obstructions are not available in the McKnight Park. So that is also a very big advantage.
Marshall, how are we going to do with scheduling McKnight Park between the soccer and the cricket?
Yep, good question. So that's something that Zach Johnson in our department manages. He's our athletics supervisor. And so he does a really good job of working with all the different associations, and they're submitting to him their field requests ahead of time. And then he just, basically balances that out to provide field access for the variety of groups. And so I think right now the way it's working out is I think cricket will have access to McKnight Field generally on Tuesday and Thursdays in the evenings, and then some availability on the weekends as well. I think Sundays for sure, and then you might know a little better, Anoop, what's been approved for you.
Yeah, so it's 9 a.m. to 12 noon on Sunday and Saturday, and 5 to 8 p.m. on Tuesday, and 5 to 8 p.m. on Thursday.
Thursday, yep.
Okay.
Yes, I think as we start get going a little bit more and want to consider tournaments, it really just becomes a mechanism of scheduling ahead of time, and working with the other associations, to make them aware that those weekend afternoons wouldn't be available due to a tournament. So, but we've generally found all the associations do well, working with each other and putting on respective tournaments.
Okay. That's all the questions I've got.
I have a quick question. So for cricket in general, how often are your either practices, well, both practices and games, like I guess on a weekly basis?
So it's all up to individual clubs. Like I think most teams here that play cricket, they practice once a week and they have games once a week. But it really depends upon each individual tournament and how it's structured. Most people who play the sport, I think they are employed full time, and they're basically only able to make it once or twice in a week for practice. And the tournament mostly is one game per weekend, or sometimes maybe 2 games. I play mainly in the Minnesota Cricket Association League, and Raghav here, I think, plays mainly in the Minnesota Tennis Ball Cricket League. So I guess the answer to your question, Jalen, is there is no set cadence here. We just try to make the most of summer.
The games that I've seen on TV and stuff in England and India, they last for days. What's the normal game?
So thanks for bringing that up. So there are different formats of the game. Yes, there is one format of the game where the game lasts for 5 days, possibly. So they play from so basically they play 8 hours a day for 5 days. And then in majority of that format of the game, there is still not a winner. So, so there is that part of it. But so we have increasingly moved away from that on the international stage. There is one format of the game which is the most popular, which lasts just 4 hours or under 4 hours. And there is one format of the game that lasts about 7 to 8 hours. But the one that lasts less than 4 hours is the most popular version of the game at the moment. Yeah. And for everybody on the call here, I can play a quick 10-second video just so you see what the sport is. Is that okay with everyone? Okay. Whoa. Okay. Please let me know when you can see my screen. I can play the video. All right. So this is what cricket looks like. Yeah, that's sort of what the game looks like. In the longest version of the game, everybody wears white, and in the shorter formats of the game, people wear colored clothing.
Okay. Thanks.
Right, no problem.
Yeah, I would just like to kind of wrap this up and acknowledge and give thanks to some of the other staff that have been involved in this. So we've mentioned Brian Jung in Public Works and his staff. So really want to thank them for their support and ability to self-perform the subsurface to install this pitch. And then also big thanks to Zach in our department, who I've also mentioned, but he's also working very closely with the Chaska Cricket Club as it relates to promoting the youth programming that's going to take place, and registering kids and things like that. So it's been a good opportunity to involve a lot of people, and like everything we do in Chaska, it always takes teamwork. And so I just wanted to make sure I said thanks to everybody. So with that, if you could go ahead, Dave, and seek a motion.
Yeah, I'd like someone to make a motion for the park board to recommend to the city council approval of installation of a cricket pitch at McKnight Park.
I so motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
You want to take a roll call vote on this, Mary, please?
And actually, I'm sorry, who made the first on that?
It was me, Tom.
Okay.
The new guy.
Okay, you want a roll call, you said?
Yeah, please.
Chair David Downs,
Aye.
Vice Chair Jason Branch,
Strong yes.
Elizabeth Winveen,
Aye.
Georgianne Keyport.
Aye.
Zach Saressig,
Aye, what a cool idea.
Danielle Hayai,
Aye.
Carly Sitch,
Aye.
Thomas Massey,
Aye.
Jalen Destin.
You're on mute, Jason. Jalen?
Aye.
Thank you.
The motion passes unanimously. Let's go forward to the park or to the city council, Marshall.
Great. Thank you all. And yeah, this will go on the city council agenda for their upcoming meeting next week, Monday.
Thanks for coming, guys. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much and good luck with everything.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
That's going to be fun. It's going to be good.
Yeah, I can't wait for this park board member playoff learning cricket tournament.
I'll play the third base, as long as you don't stomp on me when you come around.
If you get Zach Johnson out there, he's a pretty athletic guy. Get him on the team.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Well, yeah, we'll look to put together an opportunity for everybody to come out and try it for sure.
It's fun to see something new and exciting in the community. I like the parallel that he was drawing with the curling. That was really interesting. I didn't think of it from that perspective about, had somebody said 10 years ago, hey, we should bring a curling center into Chaska. Not only did I not live here at the time, but I would have been like, what?
Mm-hmm.
So what a great idea. It's fun the idea of being on the forefront of something.
Okay, let's move on to the next item, 9B, Cortina Woods Park Date.
Oh, should we do 9A, Dave?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, the pedestrian and bicycle master plan update.
Yes. So we, as a park board, earlier tonight, along with the Bicycle Friendly Community Committee, which is serving as the project steering committee, we met prior to this meeting in a work session where we were able to learn from Antonio, who is the consultant we're working with from Community Design Group. And so I think what I'll do from here is turn it over to Liz to provide kind of an overview and an update, since she is serving as our park board representative. And then in addition to that, we can also have Jalen speak about it too, and just get his thoughts on what he heard tonight, because he's also agreed to serve as our youth representative as part of this plan. And so I'm going to let the two of them talk a little bit, and then, if there's any questions or anything else we need to add, just so that we're keeping the public informed about this project is really the goal here. So I'll turn it over to you, Liz.
All right. As Marshall said, we had the kickoff meeting tonight with Antonio from the Community Design Group. And I just came away from the meeting totally excited. Antonio is just, and his team are going to be the right choice. I feel very grateful that we went with their group. He's personable, enthusiastic, and he's got such a passion for what he's doing. And he's got plenty of experience in and around Minnesota, in other countries, other states. So very impressed with his background and what he shared with the steering committee this evening. I'm also impressed with the plan. They have, the 6 E's, I think it is, of the kind of, which aligns with the bicycle friendly community that we want to apply for. And I think February of next year. He was complimentary of our city in kind of noting that we are a progressive community and we want to keep improving our community and making biking and walking accessible to all, even those who aren't currently doing so. And that seemed like it came across as a passion of his to just get everyone enthusiastic about this project, not even those who currently have an interest in using our trails. It came across that community engagement is super important, even in the current state we find ourselves with the pandemic going on. There is going to be a link that will hopefully come out within the next week or two that we hope to have 1,000 participants within Chaska filling out. It's going to be an interactive wiki map where you can go in and say, hey, like, this is a route I love. This needs to be improved. You can add your comments right there. Everything will be encapsulated. Those types of things are important now that we can't always have those in-person meetings at an event right now. I think there are plans to have meetings in person, such as the different Fire and Ice Festival or Cycle Chaska event, things like that. But this interactive survey that you can do and wiki maps, it was just really impressive how you could be detailed, and they want to get everyone's input. And they really want to take, I think, a survey of what people want, and they said different ways to test that what they plan to do will actually be used by residents, which I think is important because we want to see that our dollars are used effectively. I think that's always the main concern when you see that city funds are being used. Even if it's in the use of a grant, we want whatever dollars are given to be used effectively. So more to come. We, as the steering committee, have a lot of homework to try and use the website and practice the survey and the wiki maps and get it perfected before it goes out to the community at large. And I think Chaska is always really involved, and I hope that everyone passes on the survey to someone else that lives in Chaska, and we can get a lot of participation and make this, project the best that it can be. Jalen, I don't know, do you have anything you'd like to add from what you heard this evening?
Yeah, I don't have too much, but I do have a little bit. So I really did like the presentation, and he seemed extremely excited about it, which always makes the presentation better when you know that the person is really into it and into what he's doing. I really liked all the information in there. It was really packed with information. So I did learn a lot, as the majority of the things that I heard there were totally new to me. What stood out to me was the equity part and how we're going to make sure that, the trails and the bikes and everything that's involved with it is available to everyone, as people are in all different stages in this city, in this area. And it is, of course, important that that everyone knows about it, as it can be very helpful for many people. So that's what stood out most to me, and that's about all I have to say about it.
Good. Marshall, we'll leave this item on the agenda on a permanent basis until this is wrapped up in October. And we'll ask Liz and Jalen to give us an update at each park board meeting.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, because that steering committee will ultimately meet once a month throughout this entire project. And so, depending on the timing of those meetings, there should be new information to be able to bring back to our park board meetings, to keep everybody updated. So
yeah, he mentioned that they were going to try to do the third Tuesday of every month, which would make them a week after that board meeting. But that's fine. You've got, that new information from that meeting to bring forward to the park board.
Yep. Anybody else on the park board have any comments or feedback, just being a part of the work session earlier today and what you heard? So really that was to introduce this to the park board, so you have a really good understanding of kind of what we're about to embark on. And then, as Dave mentioned, Liz and Jalen will provide monthly updates as we go. And then in the end, we'll be inviting Antonio back for a presentation most likely in September or October to one of our regular meetings where he'll present the master plan that will ultimately recommend to city council for their approval. But if there's any comments or feedback, you know, go ahead and chime in.
Well, I really like the wiki maps, that the interactive map to provide some feedback on other routes that people like, I think will really help to get that goal of 1,000 people. That's a fun type of activity that maybe will help meet that goal, because that will be a challenging goal to meet. I think that's just really, that's got the cool factor associated with it.
Okay. We're ready to move on to Cortina Woods Park update.
Yep. Okay. So Cortina Woods is a neighborhood park. And this is a park which, as part of the capital improvement program that is managed through our Public Works and Park Maintenance Department, has been identified as one of the neighborhood parks that's going to get essentially rehabilitated this year. And so I had shared with the park board at our previous meeting the fact that we had sent out a survey to all of the residents that live within a half a mile of the neighborhood park. So they had the opportunity to provide us feedback. There was both a paper version that we mailed them, and we steered them towards our website. They could fill it out online as well. We had, I think it was right around 57 households that responded to the survey, and it represented close to 200 people within those households. So I think we got a really good response. And I had shared some of that initial data at our last meeting. And so between then and now, we've had an opportunity to meet with the Public Works Department and just go through that survey together and, you know, talk about some of the themes and trends that we gleaned from it. And so what's happening from here is that survey feedback is going to be provided to a couple of playground equipment manufacturers, and then they're going to come back to the city with, you know, 2 to 3 concept plans, you know, and what that park could look like. And within the city, you know, we'll make a determination as to which equipment manufacturer we think is providing the most value within our budget. And then we're looking to set up a neighborhood meeting on the evening of May 5th. And so I'll be sending an invite out to the park board to attend that as well, in which we would come out to the neighborhood park, invite the residents, you know, and review kind of the concept design plan of the park and get their feedback on what that looks like. And so ideally we come out of that meeting with some good feedback and good direction to then go back to the playground manufacturer and start the process of you know, planning for that installation. And according to Brian, it sounds like more than likely we would be looking at a fall time frame for installation, probably during the September or October months of this year. And so the plan would be, again, to just keep this as a discussion item on our agenda so that I can provide updates as we go throughout this project. Any questions on that?
Nope.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, yep, just look forward to an invite to that neighborhood meeting that we'll be planning on May 5th. And if there is bad weather, we'll just delay it 1 week and do it on the 12th.
Yeah, the folks who haven't been to one of those meetings, they're usually really good. The neighborhood comes down to the park and gives some really good input normally and some good discussions about what's going on. So if you have an opportunity to join that meeting on May 5th, I think you'll like it, and I think you can help contribute and see how the neighborhood contributes to the discussions. Next item on the agenda is the Carver County Arts Consortium update. This is something that I think we're going to also have on the agenda as a permanent item, and there may not be an awful lot of discussion, but at least we can see a brief update of what's going on with the Art Consortium.
Yeah, so probably one of the more significant things with the Arts Consortium is recently their organization had their annual board meeting, and so there's been a changeover in some of their board positions just with individuals reaching their term limits. And so I know all of you, or those of you that were with the park board back in December, you had met Cindy Anderson, and she was a key person that we worked with to develop this partnership, and she served as the president of the Arts Consortium. And so she has reached her term, and so now there's going to be a new president of the Arts Consortium. Her name is Mary Williamson, and we're looking to set up a meeting to meet Mary some more and just talk through the goals of this partnership. Cindy is still going to be very actively involved, though. She's still an artist within the consortium, and I think she's still going to be a key player in kind of their education committee and partnering with us on the variety of programming that we're going to be looking to continue to grow. So that's exciting, just getting to meet some of the new board members here and continue growing this partnership. They do have a new exhibit over at the community center, so if you get a chance, stop on over and take a look at that. The current exhibit is called Sense of Place, and so there's a lot of great artwork up on the walls over there. And then something we're going to be hearing more about, still trying to come up with ideas, but the Arts Consortium is going to be very actively involved in the month of June to celebrate Prince's 5-year anniversary from when he died. And so there's going to be an exhibit called Purple Rain. They're really looking to make this county-wide, but have a lot of exciting things planned in terms of the exhibit here at the community center. And so really looking forward to that. I think there could be some things that are going to be happening within the theater as well, possibly some music performances and things like that. But I think it could really bring in and attract people into the community center who've maybe never been in the community center before. So it's always good to seek out those opportunities. And then we're also working with them. Staff are working on an event over at Fireman's Park that would occur on Sunday, August 22nd. And it's music and art in the park. And so it'll feature the artists within the musicians within the Arts Consortium. They always put out an annual CD. So I think it's going to be serving as kind of their CD release party. And then there's going to be some art display and arts programs for kids in the park. And so it's going to be on a Sunday afternoon. And I think this year is to kind of launch it, and then ideally this becomes an annual event that could continue, that could potentially grow into a weekend long art and music in the park event. So excited about that.
Great. Would it be advisable, or would it be possible for Mary Williamson to join us sometime to introduce herself to the park board and chat about what her goals are and things?
Absolutely. Yep. Once I meet with her, I'll let her know that that's something the park board's interested in, and we'll get that lined up.
Cool.
Yeah, do we need, just for our new members, just like a quick synopsis of kind of what's happened and, you know, the venture of, you know, moving from Victoria to the community?
Yeah, we could. You can probably do a better job than I can on that, Marshall. Go ahead and give a short recap if you would.
Yeah, so the Carver County Arts Consortium, prior to coming to the community center, had been operating out of a facility in Victoria. They were leasing space. It was really a great space. I think the challenge for them is it was kind of in a lower level of a building in downtown, and so I think the visibility factor was always a challenge for them. And so, you know, with COVID, obviously a lot of businesses got impacted, as did theirs. But towards the end of last year, their lease was kind of due to be renewed. And their board felt like it was just an opportunistic time to see if there are other spaces in the county that could work for them. And so they came over to the city, and we had some conversations, and you know, we felt like it was a great match. You know, we have kind of an arts component to the community center with our theater and our gallery and exhibit space outside of the theater, and you know, just all the other multi-purpose spaces within our facility to run programs. You know, but the other unique thing that we needed to figure out was, one of the things that they have is essentially a gift shop, in which it kind of serves as a retail space in which members of the Arts Consortium can display their artwork for people to purchase. And then, you know, the Arts Consortium essentially gets a percentage of that sale as kind of that partnership. And so that ultimately landed in a former cafeteria space within our community center, which we felt generally was, you know, an underutilized space. You know, it was primarily just vending machines. You know, they weren't huge revenue generators for us. And so we felt like that was a space, even though it was smaller, it's generally a smaller retail space than what they had over in Victoria. They felt that it would work, and I think it is working. And so essentially what we have are two agreements in place with the Arts Consortium. And one essentially is a lease agreement for that dedicated retail space in the cafeteria. And so we receive a monthly base rent from them. And then it's set up to where if they do generate sales above and beyond basically a percentage that we have above and beyond that base rent that's established, the city would then get paid that difference. So there's kind of a tie-in to where, you know, there's incentive for them to be successful and generate more sales. And in doing so, the city can get some more revenue above and beyond that base rent. And then the second agreement we have is a memorandum of understanding for a partnership on arts programming. And so that's really working together with their organization along with our recreation program staff to partner on arts programming for the community to be engaged in. And so whether it's utilizing space within the community center or doing things out in the parks or even looking at other spaces in the community. And so we've kind of outlined different responsibilities with which each organization provides. But ultimately, the goal is to increase the amount of arts programming we're able to provide and then utilize the talent of the artists that belong with the consortium. So.
Great. It's going to be a really good program. I mean, it's nice to bring arts back into the focus of the Park and Rec, because I think the real name of the board is, or the organization is Park Rec and Arts. So it's nice to have that focus that we haven't had in some years. Next item is summer recreation program updates.
Yeah, so staff have been hard at work planning some programs for the summer. For those of you that are new, throughout COVID, planning programs has obviously been a challenge. And with a lot of the uncertainty throughout it, it's been very difficult to plan things far out in advance, and so we really had to pivot, that's the buzzword, pivot, and look at more of a month-to-month model within our programming. And but now that things are starting to sort of get under more control, we're starting to see a little bit of the light at the end of the tunnel here. We are proceeding with putting together more of a 3-month summer guide. And so staff are working on that, and that guide's actually going to get put out to the community sometime yet this week. And so I just wanted to highlight a couple of the things in there that I think are exciting for the community to look forward to. One, swimming lessons at the community center are going to resume starting in June. So we're really looking forward to that. And we've got a lot of parents inquiring about that. We're looking at putting on a Cycle Chaska event that's going to be on Saturday, May 22nd. We put on that first event last year. So we're looking to make that an annual event and continue to grow it. But essentially, there's a variety of options and routes for people to participate in. We're looking at bringing back some of the concert series at Fireman's Park and City Square Park. So there'll be some Tuesday night concerts at Fireman's Park and Friday evening concerts over at City Square Park. And then another exciting concert that we're looking at is on Friday, July 16th. We're going to be having a Latin band at Fireman's Park called Salsa de Sol. And one thing that's going to potentially tie into is some work that we've been doing with the county, Carver County and Scott County, to really work with the Latinx community and try to understand some of the barriers that they have in utilizing both county and municipal parks. And so some things we're working on are some soccer leagues that we're going to be hosting over at Riverview Terrace, but also putting on this community event, really focused on some Latin themes and, engaging people in that community, and just generally and casually asking them questions to try to understand how we can partner with them more and make the parks more accessible to their community. And so one thing we've learned, we've been in touch with an individual who runs a nonprofit organization called Latino Outdoor Minnesota, and he had told us that sending a survey to that community just doesn't work. You're probably going to get a real low response rate. They've found that it's really putting on events and just having conversations with them and providing information is really what works best. And so that's what we're attempting to do there. And then there's some of the youth and adult kind of athletics and sporting opportunities that'll be coming out this summer as well. So yeah, stay tuned for that program guide. Like I mentioned, it should come out sometime yet this week.
Great, thanks. Moving on to other business, the board reports for the new folks. This is where we just go around and you can comment on anything or bring up any points or discussions that you'd like or observations that you've had to the board. Let's start with Jason, if we could.
Yeah, so a little bit of snow today, but it's supposed to be a great weekend. So get out and check out the parks. Disc golf course, they're open yet. I haven't checked. Just get outside. It feels good. I'm excited to hear about the music coming back to Fireman's Park because I have some new moves that I've been working on during COVID. So I'm going to need a spot to show all those off. So I'm pretty pumped. It's good to hear.
Cool. Georgianne?
Yes, so I was involved in the Stuff the Bus that was a function that invited people to donate food to the food shelves, variety of them, and it was down at Cooper's and then at Cubs, and I was down at Cooper's one cold morning, and I was pleasantly surprised at the generosity of people who came out of the grocery store to donate things. They, I think I would say 90% of the people who came out that morning donated, and donated a lot. Cooper's had pre-bagged some things and then donated a certain percentage of those bags free to that effort. There were a couple of people who walked down to the little dollar store and loaded up on dishwashing soap and different kinds of personal products, and just huge bags of them, and brought them over. It was really I didn't know what to expect. I hadn't done anything like that before, but I think that was a really successful activity. I enjoyed doing that.
Thanks.
Thanks for helping.
Zach?
Strangely enough, I don't have anything to add this week. Still loving seeing everything going on at the community center, seeing the staff there regularly, having a great time. Welcome to the new members. Excited to see all the great new things that are going to happen this year. Thank you.
Liz? Liz?
Yep. Welcome to the new members. Excited to have some new faces and new perspectives. I want to say congratulations to the Chaska girls basketball team, state champions. That's awesome. Congratulations. And as Jason mentioned, golf courses, they're open. Get out there, enjoy it. In the Neighbors of Chaska magazine in March, there was a ad about the Loop at Chaska. That isn't slated to open until 2022. but it's really awesome if you're over there by Aldi's, McDonald's, Chipotle, Starbucks, Kohl's. You can watch the dirt being pushed around. It's kind of neat to watch that progress. It's really something. And then Marshall already mentioned the cycle, Chaska, slated for May 22nd. So hopefully everyone puts that on their calendar to come out and bike, check out the trails. That's it from me.
Thanks. Donnell?
Nothing too much to add. I wanted to call out that I think Carver Cycles opened in Watertown the last week or two. So that's kind of neat, the very far edge of Carver County, but very neat to see them open up.
Tom?
No comment from me.
Carly?
I took a hike around the trails over by Lake Grace and then kind of down by the creek and saw a lot of spring ephemerals. So there's flowers popping up in the woods.
Jalen?
Nothing much. Just I'll just repeat the congratulations for the girls basketball team, because I know women's sports is sometimes looked down upon, not respected as much as they should be. So I will repeat that congratulations.
I watched that game on TV and I was absolutely amazed on how well they played. I watched some of the boys championship the next night and the girls played much better. They just were awesome. I too want to thank the new members for joining us. It's great having you and looking forward to your perspective and your contributions to the board. And Georgianne, I've got a request for you. You talked to Marshall, I believe, about community gardens and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
At the next park board meeting, could you give us a tutorial on community gardens for, I don't know, 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, or kind of, or whatever time you think, what they are and how they work, and you know what works and what doesn't work type thing. I know that we've got some community gardens in the city now. They're not in neighborhood parks, but I think it might be a possibility for either other community parks to have it or even neighborhood parks. If you think that would be suitable, you might be able to pitch it to us.
Sure, I'd be delighted to do that.
That'd be great. And that's all I have tonight. Is there anybody else that would like to say anything? Mary?
Just really quick, wanted to just double check to make sure everybody got communication from me, or if there were any issues or questions with any of it.
Well, I would
take that as a no.
You had sent something out about the vaccinations, and I wondered if that was helpful, if everybody is lined, if they haven't been vaccinated already, if they're lined up to get vaccines now.
I didn't get a response, so I'm assuming people got that email, but I didn't hear anything on it.
Okay. Marshall,
okay, that's all I got. Thank you.
Marshall,
Thanks,
you got
Mary.
any parting words?
Any what?
Any parting words?
Of course. Again, big thank you and welcome to the new park board members. And you know, one thing I was just thinking about is there's a lot of information we talked about tonight and a lot of topics, and I gave some kind of this high level updates. And so if there's anything you want more information on or have questions on, you know, feel free to contact me via email or phone if you feel like that would help you kind of get caught up on some of the information we discussed tonight going into future park board meetings. But other than that, we'll look forward to our next meeting. That's going to be on May 11th. Be on the lookout. More than likely going to be lining up a work session prior to that meeting as well. We're not going to get into a lot of the information tonight, but just to introduce the subject, it's going to be talking about the possibility of naming rights and some revenue potential that could be there. And so we've been engaged with a consultant on that. And so what my intention to do is to bring that information to the park board, get your initial reaction and feedback, see what types of questions or concerns you may have. And then we have the intent to bring that to the city council at one of their work sessions following that. And so more information to come, but just wanted to make you aware that we're looking at doing another work session prior to our next meeting. So 5:30 would be when that would occur on the 11th. Other than that, that's all I got.
Good. If there's no other discussion, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, sir.
Second?
I
Second.
second.
We're adjourned.
Thanks,
Thanks.
everybody.